Hi, I am Dr. Emmett Miller.
And I'm psychotherapist Jonathan Robinson.
And today we'd like to talk to you a little bit about how to overcome stress, anxiety, depression, and feel happy again. We spent the last year creating this really well-researched program that's filled with simple ways you can use to overcome your challenging thoughts, feelings, and health issues.
Now, a few weeks ago, we sent out a survey to you looking for your top questions. We want to make sure that we've covered all the important parts in this program. We were overwhelmed with the wonderful feedback and insights we received from you, and we want to thank you for those responses and questions.
To thank you all for taking the time to answer those survey questions, and since there were certain very common themes, we've decided to shoot this quick video to address these questions instead of answering you one at a time. And at the same time, we're also excited to share with you a little bit more about the From S.A.D to GLAD program. And I think one of the most frequent questions that we were asked is, how can I change my thought patterns quickly and effectively? You wanted tips and easy to apply, rapid techniques. And John, maybe you can address that question.
Well, as you know, Emmett, I specialize in quick and simple methods because, well, to tell you the truth, I'm kind of lazy. And if a method takes more than a minute or two to do, it's very unlikely that I will use it. And so when I was working with people who suffer from depression or anxiety, I specialize in giving them methods that would immediately change their thought patterns. Some of those methods involve just pressing play and being guided in a 1 minute or 2 minute or 5 minute meditation that powerfully changes how you look at a situation or how you feel. We also have a way of looking at specific thought patterns that a lot of anxious and depressed people have, and having you identify them on a checklist, and then being able to replace them with what we call power phrases. And we find that in just a minute of doing these simple methods, whether it be a guided meditation or identifying negative thought patterns and replacing them with specific other patterns that are going to empower you, that you can very easily change old patterns almost overnight. And that is the key to long-term success, being able to do something quickly, easily, that will stay with you and be able to change your feelings on an ongoing basis. Now, to answer one of the other popular questions that came up, which was, how do you use natural approaches rather than dangerous drugs or medications or ones that have lots of side effects for handling depression and anxiety? And I thought Dr. Miller would attend to that question.
We actually have an entire section of the program devoted specifically to those questions. Antidepressants, yes, they can be useful in severe depression and in a very selected group of people, but most people don't really seem to benefit from the use of antidepressants, from pharmaceuticals. And so in that section of our program, we'll talk about some of the other things that you can do, and not only ways that you can adjust your thinking through the use of techniques like meditation and the use of power phrases, but we've also talked about some of the amino acid approaches and some of the other natural substances and herbal substances that you can use. And we've tried to give pretty careful descriptions of how to use it and how not to use them. Now, we call the program From S.A.D to GLAD, and S.A.D is S-A-D, which is stress, anxiety, and depression, and how to overcome them and be happy again. And many people ask the question, what is the quickest and easiest way that I can handle stress so that I don't fall victim to its effects? And John, maybe you can talk a bit about that.
Yeah, it's a great question because stress is constant. You can't really get away from it. So the question really is, what methods will work for you? And what I find is that different people like different methods. So we have really 10 methods in the program that just deal with stress. Some of those methods involve doing absolutely nothing other than listening to Emmett or I guide you in a 1 minute or 5 minute or even 10 minute meditation. That's pretty simple and very effective. But some of my personal favorites involve things that you can do in 30 seconds or a minute that change your body physiology so that you can relax even when the crap is hitting the fan. Now, some of these methods are actually fun to do. Some of them involve breathing, some of them involve imagery, some of them involve how you move your body. And what is really important is that you find one or two of these methods that are so easy and so powerful immediately that you will incorporate into your life. And most people don't know these methods, so that at the end of the day, they're just worn out or stressed out and they get depressed. But if you can handle stress as it's coming into your life immediately right there and be able to relax and stay centered, it really changes your relationships, it changes how you are at work, it changes really your whole day, and therefore it changes your life. So we really look forward to you learning some of those powerful, often secret methods that can really make a huge difference.
Which reminds me, one of the things that's really different about this program, it's a very scientific program, and as you learn each of these tools and techniques to use, our recommendation is that you use them or try them out several different times. And we've included a rating sheet so that you can actually do some research and find out before and after which are the most useful techniques for you, so that you can then go back and use those on a rotating basis.
Now, those rating sheets and those variety of methods are useful not just for our clients, but they're useful for therapists because they like to teach it to their clients. And they find that for any healthcare practitioners who might be looking at the program, that they get more precise and more variety and more ability to help a high range of people. Now, a fourth question that came up a lot was, how do you deal with childhood and adult traumas from the past? You know, a lot of us have difficult childhoods that are still with us to some extent, and I thought Dr. Miller would be able to address that question.
This is a really good question. These techniques that you will learn that are rapid and that can keep you on course moment to moment, quick 5-second and 5-minute techniques for getting back on track if you fall off. In the later stages of the program, we deal with some of the deeper issues. Now, you know, when there has been abuse or trauma in the past, whether it's in childhood or if it's been in Iraq or Afghanistan, what happens is there's actually nerve damage that goes on in a certain part of the brain, a part that's called the limbic system, as many of you may already know. Well, it turns out that by using these techniques of deep relaxation, meditation, and guided imagery, you can actually create new neuronal tracks, what we call neuron neogenesis. We can create new nerves, and those nerves can serve, and new nerves and new connections, which can serve to bring chemicals down into the limbic system and actually quiet that part of the brain. So rather than have to use antidepressants or anti-anxiety agents, you can kind of create your own mental pharmacy. Now this requires a little bit of practice. Practice in how to come into the present, how to erase unnecessary thoughts from your mind, and how to be in touch with that spiritual center within, with that part of you that knows that you're exactly the person you're supposed to be, you're exactly in the place that you're supposed to be, and that you have all the tools that you need inside to create and be successful in the way that you really want to create in your life. And so in those particular sessions, you will receive specific instructions about how to do that. Using these techniques will help to create those long-term changes that many of you said you were interested in. And John, perhaps you have some other ideas about how long-term enduring change may be created.
Yeah. You know, in the 90s, I was a high-paid motivational speaker, so I learned a lot of ways to help myself and other people stay motivated. And if you can't stay motivated to do something different, then you're likely to fall back into old routines and self-destructive patterns. So we focus on many ways to keep you motivated throughout the program. one of the things we do is make the methods so ridiculously easy that it's hard not to do them. Another thing we do is we make it so that you can keep track of what you do and have ways of self-reinforcing yourself so that you're more likely to stay with each of the methods over a period of time. And we also teach you some motivational techniques that not only will help you with the program, but will help you stay motivated in business and in life. Because a lot of the goodies in life require you first to do a little bit of effort, whether it be exercise or eat right or change your thought patterns. So we break it down so it's very step by step. We make it simple, and we give you these motivational methods to help you maintain the changes that you've made. Now, the last question that we want to talk about now is one that came up a lot, and that is, how do you stay peaceful when all kinds of stuff and overwhelm is happening in your life? And I thought Dr. Miller would have some good things to say about that.
Yes, people ask that question and the related question of what can I do when I'm not in control of the situation, when there are outside forces that I have to deal with. And that really brings me to another aspect of the program, which is we're teaching not only how you can approach these problems, but why these techniques work. So you'll learn something about how the brain works. You'll learn a little bit about what these new discoveries are in neuropsychology and neuropsychiatry. It's not about the id and the superego and the ego anymore, but we're talking about centers within the brain, and we're talking about how the brain works. And one of the things that you'll begin to realize that it's your beliefs that lead you to feel not peaceful when you're confronted by these challenges. And so you'll be learning numerous techniques for changing your whole attitude toward life. Jonathan spoke a few moments ago about our power phrases, and you'll find that these are self-affirmations that you will learn as you work with the program, but then they're always present for you. So any time of the day or night, when you find you're starting to lose your focus or forget the power that you have inside, or to think in some way that you need to be tense because, basically the kinds of things that are going on in our lives don't need to call forth these anxiety feelings or anger or distress, but how you can remember to go back to that peaceful place that you've learned to create inside yourself as you've worked with the earlier parts of the program. Well, with all of the media attention and all the scientific studies that are coming out recently having to do with stress and anxiety and depression, I think the timing of this program is perfect. And you'll find one of the transformational aspects of the program is that we don't look at happiness and depression, anxiety, and sadness as being completely different, but we really see them on a continuum. So this program is good for wherever you are, if you're dealing with depression or anxiety or stress, or if you're relatively happy and you just want to learn how to become more happy. Wherever you are on that spectrum, we have something there for you so you can move in that positive direction. So it's not just for your darkest days and when you're feeling really crappy, but anytime you need a lift or you need to move or to be more successful in whatever you're doing.
Now, a lot of times people must be wondering, why should I put my faith in Dr. Miller and I? What makes this program unique and our experience unique? Well, first of all, we have between us about 75 years of experience in dealing with stress, anxiety, and depression, and helping literally a couple 100 million people, between our appearances on radio and TV and books. We've reached a lot of people, and we found out what really works in the real world and what is more theoretical and is too hard for the average person to do. From that feedback, we've learned to make it so that people can do a program that is easy enough and effective enough that they'll see immediate results. And the good news is you can do this from your own home. You don't have to drive to an expensive therapist, or you don't have to go to expensive clinic, you can do the lessons at home in the privacy of your own home at your convenience, and you'll notice an immediate difference.
In fact, you'll discover that if you go to a coach or a therapist or a psychiatrist, you'll be learning exactly some of the same tools that we're offering, except I think that you're getting a huge batch of them all at once here. And basically, the S.A.D to GLAD program is a complete, holistic, and simple to follow course for taking control of your mind, your body, your emotions, and your spirit. Not only will you know exactly what you need to do to feel better, but you'll also be given a choice as to which methods best suit your particular needs.
Now, the program that you'll be receiving consists of a lot of specific sessions and methods, both cutting-edge tools and information that is going to make a huge difference in your life, that will be delivered through MP3 recordings. Now, in session 1, which is the introduction, we teach very simple ways to feel better immediately. We're talking about things that take a minute or less to do. And yet these things can be very effective. We call them happiness boosters. In session 2, we talk about how you can become free from your disturbing thoughts. In the third session, we called it a body in balance because you learn simple ways to exercise or simple changes to your diet or simple supplements that can make a huge difference in how you feel. In the fourth session, we talk about the power of positive psychology. These are ways to not only get out of depression quickly, but how to increase your level of happiness and joy in your day-to-day life. In session 5, we talk about spirituality and purpose, because if you have a strong sense of what you're here to do, it's going to help you to feel less anxious, less depressed, and more aligned with the life that you really want to live. And in the sixth session, we talk about how to heal yourself from past trauma and negative emotions.
So who is this program for? It's for you. Basically, anybody will find something that will be valuable. In fact, many things on here that will be valuable for you in just enhancing your life, creating happiness, and eliminating the stress, anxiety, and depression that cost us so much.
So let me now talk about the pricing of the entire program and what you get. Besides the 6 sessions that you get in the From S.A.D to GLAD program, you also get several other things. First of all, you get a program from Dr. Miller called Escape from Depression, which will guide you from depression to feeling better in a very elegant, simple way that takes no effort on your part. You'll also receive another Dr. Miller program called Abolish Anxiety, which will help you feel more relaxed no matter what's going on in your life. And from me, you'll receive a program called Deeper Happiness, 1 month to a lifetime of greater fulfillment. And in that program, I have you listen for 10 minutes a day, and you get a simple method to use that day that will help you to let go of anxiety and depression and feel happier. And by the time that you're done with that program, you'll find that you experience new joy and happiness that you may not have experienced for many years. Now, besides all these things, you also get access to emailing Dr. Miller and I questions that we will respond to within 3 days, because we want to make sure that your questions are taken care of and that you have everything that you need to go from S.A.D to GLAD. Now, all this you receive for $297. Now, as a special thank you for all of you who answered our survey questions, we're going to offer an incredible discount. When you go to buy the program, they'll ask for a promo code. If you put in Happiness 2015, you get the entire program, all these MP3 downloads and all these different programs for $147, which is about the price of one therapy session. You can't beat that. Now, maybe you're the type of person who likes to try something before they buy it. We're going to give you a possibility of doing a $1 trial offer, meaning we'll send you the first session of the From S.A.D to GLAD program for $1 measly. And if you like what you hear, then hopefully you'll be motivated to buy the rest of the program. And in that first session, you'll learn several ideas for immediately letting go of negative feelings, and boosting your happiness. And we'll give you an overview of the entire program so you have an even better sense of what you'll be receiving.
So we hope we've answered some of your burning questions about how our program can help you overcome stress, anxiety, and depression.
And if you're ready and would like to start using the program now, you can visit our website, FromSAD2Glad.com.
Thanks so much for spending this time with us here and sharing our excitement. We're certain you're going to be thrilled with this new program.